Your flight is booked, and you've done your best to play by the rules. You arrived early and made it past security. While waiting to board, a gate agent pulls you aside and says you can't get on the plane. Denied boarding happens for reasons many people don't see coming. Let's unpack 9 reasons travelers are left stranded at the gate. Inadequate travel documentation. This isn't only about forgetting your passport. Far from it. Do you have a visa to start with? I don't mean just for your final destination. If you have a layover or connecting flight, many countries require a transit visa even if you don't leave the airport. Imagine flying from Los Angeles to Paris, but your flight has a layover in London. Depending on your nationality, you may need a transit visa to pass through the UK if your flight changes, or you'll go through border control. Visa-exempt travelers aren't immune to visa issues. You should confirm whether you need a digital permit like an ETA. If you show up at the airport without a valid electronic travel authorization when it's required, you could be refused entry onto the plane. It's no longer business as usual, even for domestic travel. Flyers within the US must present a real ID to board flights from May 7th, 2025. Damaged passport. We all agree on how important a passport is, right? Especially for international travel. However, it's not enough to present your passport at the check-in counter. Its visible state could be exactly why you get turned away. The airline staff may not allow you to board if your passport is disfigured. Regular wear and tear is fine, but water damage, unofficial markings, missing pages, peeling lamination, a rip in the data page, or a hole punch cannot be overlooked. If any of these apply to you, apply for a replacement well before your travel date. Unless, of course, you enjoy getting booted from a flight, which I doubt. Passport validity. Your passport looks perfect, but you're still not in the clear. Why? Let's just say you ignored a small detail with big consequences. You could be denied boarding if your passport is set to expire less than 6 months after your trip. The 6-month passport validity rule catches many travelers off guard. Your passport's expiry date should be at least 6 months beyond the date you intend to depart your destination. While you're at it, make sure you have at least 4 blank pages for the entry and exit stamps. Check your passport's expiry date before you start planning your next international trip, verify your destination's entry requirements from official sources, and renew your passport if need be. You could get your passport right and still be held back by something as simple as your outfit choices. Before we get to that, subscribe to the channel, like this video, turn on notifications for more travel content. Offensive clothing. Some airlines are cracking down on passengers who violate their contract of carriage, particularly on appearance. The ground staff may deboard those with revealing clothes, exposed offensive body art, and clothing with political statements. T-shirts with swear words, slogans, and obscene images are also typically frowned upon. They may prompt unpleasant reactions from other passengers, lead to aggression, and probably an unscheduled landing. Bottom line, it's best to keep your fashion neutral and optimized for comfort. Check out this video if you want to know more about outfits you shouldn't wear to the airport. Name mismatch on your documents. You'll most likely be turned away if the name on your boarding pass doesn't match the name on your passport or any other government-issued ID. Like everything else, it's all in the details. It could be a typo, shortened name, nickname, or even a middle initial difference. Many people haven't had issues with a missing middle initial, but remember that the decision to board is up to the individual checking your documents. A good rule of thumb is not to give them an excuse to ruin your plans. Double-check your personal info before finalizing the reservation. If a typo slips through, contact the airline immediately. Bring supporting documents like a marriage certificate or legal paperwork if your name has changed due to personal circumstances. Some airlines let you make changes for free within a 24-hour booking window. Others may charge between $125 and $500 for the correction. If you notice the error at the airport, go to the airline's ticket desk for support. Visible signs of illness. The world is in a post-pandemic era, so traveling while sick could pull the plug on your plans. Airline crew reserve the responsibility to prioritize the health and safety of all passengers. If you're looking pale, coughing, or sneezing excessively, or you show up with symptoms of a contagious illness, you could get flagged as a potential health risk. It doesn't matter that you think you can handle it. To them, the signs are enough to declare you unfit. The best bet is not to fly when you feel unwell. Inform the airline in advance and explore possible options for rescheduling. However, if the trip can't be postponed, get a doctor's report to confirm that the illness isn't contagious. The report isn't foolproof, but could be helpful. In the case of a denial, whether or not you get compensated depends on the airline and regulatory standards. Strong body odor. This is a bit tricky. Airlines have the right to refuse passengers giving off offensive smells because of the discomfort they could pose to other passengers. However, the issue has to be addressed fairly and tactfully. Doing otherwise is a recipe for discrimination lawsuits. If the odor is caused by a medical condition or disability, the passengers can't be denied boarding on that basis. The complainant may be offered a later flight if they can't get a different seat on the flight. It's not only about malodorous instances. The passengers who douse themselves in perfume are also part of the problem. The chemicals in scented products can trigger headaches, skin irritation, nausea, and breathing problems in fellow travelers. In the end, a little understanding from all parties is all that matters. What can you do on your part? Fix your personal hygiene, freshen up and wear clean clothes. Don't bother with the perfume. Save it for when you get home or your destination. Intoxication. There couldn't possibly be a faster track to being deboarded than appearing under the influence. If you're slurring your speech, reeking of alcohol, acting erratically, or moving unsteadily, the gate agent doesn't have to observe you twice before issuing a boarding denial. No airline will risk boarding a passenger who seems drunk or high to avoid mid-flight disruptions. The effects of alcohol may be heightened at 30,000 feet, so they prefer to manage the situation while on the ground. Can you blame them? Go easy on the alcohol if you don't want to get a new ticket at your expense. Airlines aren't required to offer you a refund, and they could place you on a temporary or permanent no-fly list, depending on the gravity of your behavior. Lateness. Missing stated deadlines, even by a few minutes, is enough to derail your trip, and no amount of begging will earn you the airline's sympathy. So, what do? Arrive at the airport at least 2 hours before a domestic trip and 3 hours before an international flight, even if you've checked in online. This will give you enough time to get through security and sort out any last-minute delays. Airlines typically have deadlines for check-in and boarding. For instance, American Airlines allows 45 minutes before domestic flights and 90 minutes before international departures. Most carriers also require flyers to be at the gate 15 to 30 minutes before departure. Respect the time limits if you're serious about the plane not leaving without you. From invalid documentation to lack of punctuality, these reasons may seem minor, but they can cost you your flight. Not to mention the added stress you could have prevented. We're always here for you, so you can be better prepared for your travel days. Which of them surprised you? Let's keep the conversation going. If you've been close to making these mistakes, share your experience in the comments. Finally, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other videos.